So hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And I was looking at Lex Fridman's podcast. I believe he had on Nick Bostrom on the episode I was looking at. And they got to talking about the Doomsday Hypothesis and the idea of whether or not we're living in a simulation. With respect to the Doomsday Hypothesis, the idea is basically that as a human being living right now, given the likelihood of being and living at a time when they're the most likely to be humans, or the highest population of humans, let's say you take a sample, it is more likely that you're going to get an individual human during a period when they're the most humans, which we can suggest might be right now, as opposed to a period when there weren't that many humans, as in all the period of time in the past. And we can decide that perhaps, based on that humans are unlikely to have a very long period to go before our extinction. I'm probably not saying it as concisely and as accurately as I might be, but basically it amounts to something that I consider myself when I meet a particular person. I think that it is unlikely that I would have met a person for the first time on a very special and unique day, which would mean that the behavior that I encounter, or their personality that I might encounter, is more likely to be their average personality than it is to be as a result of a special occurrence. So for me, that's what I use to suggest that a first impression really is an accurate assessment of someone. Meaning that, let's say somebody has 10,000 days in their life. Is it likely that I would meet them on the 1,000 days that something actually, unusual happened in their life? And if I'm catching them and they're really happy, that it's not because that's their normal state, but it's because something really nice happened to them that day? Yeah. So it's the same thing. If one samples oneself out, or the period that one finds oneself in, it's much more likely to be a period where there are more humans than during our development, when there were few humans, and trailing off towards the end of humanity's existence, when again they're probably more likely to be fewer humans than during the good periods, which we can assess to be now, perhaps. I was having a couple of issues with it, because let's say, for example, if we can say that the Earth is about 4-point-something billion years, and for 3-point-something billion years there was no eukaryocytes, is that it? Basically multicellular organisms. So if we're using a similar argument, the idea seems to suggest that most of the life that we're going to encounter in the universe, because, like I was saying, the Earth's been around for 4-point-something billion years. For 3-point-something billion years, they were just simple-celled organisms. In the last billion years or so, we've had multicellular organisms. And let's say I haven't looked it up, but let's say it took about 500 million years of development in order for us, intelligent life, to come about. So it seems if we can use the same kind of argument as the Doomsday Hypothesis, and this is average, then it seems pretty unlikely that we're going to find intelligent life, especially technologically developed intelligent life, seeing as, as an average human, during the existence of humans, we have not been technologically advanced for some time. And we can say that this is an average of how things seem to go. And right now we're facing threats like climate change. So if we can suggest that we are an average human being, on average intelligent life, products of intelligent life development, then it doesn't seem likely that intelligent life is something that happens very often or very soon, certainly after the development of life, number one. And even when life has intelligent potential, it seems to take, we've been around for 200,000 years, and we just went to the moon barely, 60 something years ago. So it doesn't seem likely that if we were able to develop some sort of interstellar travel, that we're very likely to find anything more than single-celled organisms. And if we do manage to find intelligent life, it's very likely that they're not going to be very technologically advanced. Now, this wasn't really originally where I planned to go with this, because I wanted to go actually along the lines of, let's say the universe has been around for about 13.8 billion years. And based on that period of time, we can still see the other other galaxies. At some point, the other galaxies will be retreating so fast, and they'll be so far away from us, having retreated so quickly away from us based on the fact that they're so far away and traveling faster and faster, that whoever is around at that time in our galaxy, if there's intelligent life, they will not be able to come to the same conclusions that we have, which is that they are in a galaxy of many galaxies. So if we use the same idea as the Doomsday Hypothesis, does it suggest that there's not going to be any intelligent life in the future? I mean, because we are a random sample of intelligent life. And to me, it seems that there will be a much longer period of time when there is no indication that there are other galaxies in existence. That period of time will last from whenever the last galaxy disappears forever. So it seems to be an infinite amount of time that will go on for. And yet, we find ourselves as a random sample at a period of time where we can see that we are one of many galaxies. So, is it, seeing as we are a random sample, not only with respect to human beings who have ever lived and who will ever live, and putting ourselves in the most likely period for that random sample to find itself as a life form, is it that it's a similar thing where we are in the best position or in the most likely period for an intelligent life form to find itself, as in this period, meaning that there's a much less chance of life existing when there are no other galaxies to be seen, as that's an infinite amount of time. So it should be that most of the life forms should find themselves during that period, as opposed to the period before that when all the galaxies can be seen, or at least some of the galaxies can be seen. So I don't know if that does anything with the doomsday argument, hypothesis. Is it that, yes, it's an idea based on probability? It certainly doesn't say definitively anything. It just perhaps suggests that we don't have much of a future based on the probability that we would find ourselves in the most likely place for us to find ourselves, where things are going the best and there's an excess of human beings, as opposed to on the tail end or on the nose end, so to speak. Anyway, there's a bit of philosophy. I also wanted to go into the idea of a simulation, so I guess I'll think about that and talk about that later. Anyway guys, wish me luck. You can like or unlike, comment, subscribe, and or share. Or of course, you can do nothing. Peace.